Tonight on OTV News, Muskingum students are being charged in relation to the campus-wide lockdown last Thursday afternoon.
Pictures from southeastern Ohio photographers are featured in a new exhibit at Louis O. Palmer Gallery.
And one of its organizers explains why the chase is being put on hiatus this semester. All that and more tonight only on OTV News.
Hello everyone, I'm John Webb.
And I'm Carissa Kent. Jack Middleton, Sterling Walker, and Aaron Kent are facing criminal charges after an incident that caused a campus-wide lockdown last Thursday. Walker Kent entered the Ulster house with intent to purchase marijuana from Middleton. After the two left the residence, Walker was pursued by Ulster member Sam Steiner. Steiner called 911 while in pursuit. Muskingum County Sheriff and University Police caught Walker at Shady Side Drive. Chief of Police Danny Vincent took Walker in for questioning and later released him. Middleton faces charges of possession of illegal drugs and drug abuse instruments. Walker and Kent face charges of disorderly conduct. Vice President of Student Affairs and Dean of Students, Janet Heater-Bass, gave her impression of how the threat was handled.
I think it was handled well. I think our students, I always am very impressed with how cooperative our students are and how much they respond to something, recognizing it's pretty serious. I think that I was amazed and impressed and very pleased to see the response of the sheriff's office in downtown to a situation that was relatively close to campus and could easily affect our population, because it's always nice to know that our officers have backup.
Some thought that because of the use of the word stranger, that the threat wasn't as serious. Heater-Bass thinks that was something that could have been better phrased.
I don't know, maybe that's a good point. Maybe one of the things that we can try and do is sit with students and say, is there language that we can fit in the text that we have to send, which is not a lot of numbers or characters, as you can imagine, that would get things across. The trouble is every situation is different. You never really know what you are dealing with in that situation.
Well, this has been quite the eventful week here at Muskingum University.
Yes, Carissa, it's definitely been hectic, but hopefully things start to ease up a little bit.
Hopefully.
Coming up, have you had trouble hooking your new video game system to the campus network? We'll tell you the latest from CNS.
But up next, we'll have the words from the Ulster Club member who took action while he felt his organization was being threatened.
Concord Village Council meets every second Monday of the month, but you don't have to go. You can catch it on Orbit TV the week of council at 7, noon, and 7. Tune in and be up to date on all things New Concord, only on Orbit Television.
Can't make it to chapel? Tune in on Orbit TV to catch the weekly chapel service every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 5 and 10 p.m. for fellowship, worship, and a good message brought to you by Chaplain Will Mullins.
A fellow member of Ulster, Sam Steiner, pursued Sterling Walker and Aaron Kent after the illegal drug deal occurred in the Ulster house. Steiner claims that he pursued Walker and Kent because he wanted them to get caught for their illegal actions and to stand up for his fraternity members.
Honestly, I just really wanted him to get caught, and I honestly believe that if I wouldn't have chased him, that he probably would have gotten away. And I don't want people breaking into the fraternity house that I love and cherish and, you know, scaring my other brothers and myself. You know, it makes me very nervous, and I don't like the fact that I would, someone out there who wasn't caught, is still out there. I don't like that. So I wanted to make sure we found out who it was and got him arrested, so justice could be served.
The New Concord Police Department expects to arm their officers with HD body cameras. The new equipment will be implemented by March 1st. Chief of Police Trevor Hayes explains why there is a need for the body cams and how they will work.
It's kind of a growing trend with law enforcement is to have the cameras not only to protect ourselves but protect our citizens and just get a video point of view of what's going on.
According to Hayes, improvements in technology have made it possible to reenact the use of the cameras. Although Hayes denies that the new cameras are directly connected to the situations like those in Ferguson, Missouri, He does explain that those situations weren't ignored when the decision was made to enact the body cameras usage within the New Concord Police Department.
A Cleveland man leaves his children unattended in a cold car for 30 minutes. We'll have the story.
And stay tuned because later we'll have highlights from the women's win yesterday. And then we'll discuss how returning to campus can be a pain for those using the internet.
New Concord Village Council meets every second Monday of the month, but you don't have to go. You can catch it on Orbit TV the week of council at 7, noon, and 7. Tune in and be up to date on all things New Concord, only on Orbit Television.
Can't make it to chapel? Tune in on Orbit TV to catch the weekly chapel service every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 5 and 10 p.m. for fellowship, worship, and a good message brought to you by Chaplain Will Mullins.
An Ohio father ended up in hot water for leaving his children out in the cold. Workers at a local restaurant got worried when they realized he was inside eating a meal, while his 2 young children sat in the car in 16-degree weather. Michael Baldwin has the story.
He didn't know anything. He didn't know that I called the police.
This is Mr. Hero employee Billy Bush, along with her son Thomas. She says this is where Armin Edwards was sitting while his kids, ages 1 and 2, were locked in his cold car.
The car wasn't running. There was no keys in ignition. There was no heat going in the car. So, you know, that's what worried me. I'm a mommy, too, so that's what worried me.
Billy says Edwards had ordered 2 10-inch Roman burgers, then sat in the back and ate them. She believes the kids were in the car for at least 30 minutes until police came. She was first alerted when a customer came in asking whose kids they were. At the time, she didn't know. The man she served was the father of the children. She helped keep them company until police came.
I was playing peekaboo and talking to them and seeing if they'd open the door or just make sure they're okay and responsive, pretty much, like just making sure they're okay.
He's a great dad. Like, that's why I was so shocked that this situation actually happened.
This woman is the mother of the 1 and 2-year-olds. She asked us not to reveal her identity. She believes the father, Armin Edwards, who recently turned 20, just had a bad moment.
Because any other time, it's like he's taking care of the kids, he's playing with them, he does everything he can for them. This is like just, I feel like a big mistake that he made.
Edwards was arrested and charged with child endangerment.
Behind the walls of Cincinnati Children's Hospital, where healing and helping is a priority, authorities say Candida Flutie did the unthinkable, the bizarre. She mixed fecal matter into her 6 sons' IV line. Flutie's 9-year-old, identified in the indictments as EF, has been in and out of hospitals since he was born. He has a condition called Hirschsprung's. It's a congenital problem that affects the bowels. Family members tell me the boy has probably spent a solid year of his life just at Children's. He was admitted most recently on December 11th. Family members said the boy was having a problem with a blood clot when his mother, Candy, flushed his IV with saline solution. We now know, according to the indictment, she allegedly introduced feces into the IV, which caused the boy's fever to spike. Police say the case against Flutie is her own statements and video evidence. That video may have come from surveillance cameras set up inside her son's hospital room. Some family members tell us they're shocked at the allegations, saying Candy Flutie is a loving, caring, devoted mom. Others, however, are no longer so sure of that.
Authorities say Flutie's son is now in the custody of West Virginia Children's Services and is living with a family member.
New Concord Village Council meets every second Monday of the month, but you don't have to go. You can catch it on Orbit TV the week of council at 7, noon, and 7. Tune in and be up to date on all things New Concord, only on Orbit Television.
Can't make it to chapel? Tune in on Orbit TV to catch the weekly chapel service every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 5 and 10 p.m. for fellowship, worship, and a good message brought to you by Chaplain Will Mullins.
The Muskingum University wrestling team was in action Tuesday night against 15th-ranked Baldwin Wallace. Baldwin Wallace won the dual meet by a score of 50-4. Senior Malachi Bloom got the lone win for the Muskies on the night with a 15-6 major decision over Baldwin Wallace's Gabe Mahaney. The Muskies gave up 3 forfeits at the start of the meet at the 125, 133, and 141-pound weight classes, but were able to fill the remaining 7 classes. Most matches ended with Muskies getting pinned early in their matches, but freshman Max Swackhammer competed for all 3 periods, only suffering a 5-0 decision. The Muskies will be back in action on Friday and Saturday when they compete at the Wheaton Invitational.
The Muskie women's basketball team snapped their 10-game losing streak Wednesday night against arch-rival Marietta, winning 76-61. The Muskies were led offensively by Taylor Maurer, who scored 17 points on the night. Maurer was lights out from the field, making 7 of 9 shots overall and also 3 of 4 from the behind the arc. The Muskies shot the well as the team in the game, shooting 41% from the field. With a 12-point lead at the half, the Muskies used a strong defensive second half to secure the win, converting 22 Marietta turnovers into 24 points. With the win, the Muskies improved to 4-14 on the season and now sit just 1 game out of the OAC tournament race. The ladies will be back in action on Saturday when they travel to Otterbein.
The short-handed Muskie men fell hard to third-ranked Marietta 93-77 on Wednesday. Marietta is one of 2 undefeated teams remaining in Division III men's basketball. The Muskies were without starters Christian Keller and Logan Kimball, who both sat out with injuries. Josh Glass led the Muskie attack with 17 points while shooting 45% from the field. Freshman Ricky Wilson also added a career-high 14 points in 26 minutes of action, stepping in for Keller. The men battled hard early but couldn't keep up with the Pioneers in the second half. The Muskies gave up 56 points in the paint to the Pioneers, as well as 52 from the bench. With the loss, the Muskies fall to 5-13 on the year. The team will be back in action on Saturday when they host Otterbein. WMCO will have the call at 2:30.
Stay tuned because after the break, we'll have the latest information about the CHASE program and what's been going on with the campus Bradford software. We'll also hear Nicholas Lambus take on the Aperture Arts exhibit. All that and more coming up on Next on the Hook.
New Concord Village Council meets every second Monday of the month, but you don't have to go. You can catch it on Orbit TV the week of council at 7, noon, and 7. Tune in and be up to date on all things New Concord, only on Orbit Television.
Can't make it to chapel? Tune in on Orbit TV to catch the weekly chapel service every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 5 and 10 p.m. for fellowship, worship, and a good message brought to you by Chaplain Will Mullins.
The Aperture Arts exhibit and lecture was put together at the Louis O. Palmer Gallery to display an array of emotions and creativity from the photographers of Southeast Ohio. Orbit Media News correspondent Nicholas Lambus extends the field of view to get a better perspective of the exhibit and lecture.
Thursday, January 22nd marked the beginning of the Aperture Arts exhibit and lecture, which took place in the Louis O. Palmer Gallery on Muskingum University's campus. The Aperture Arts exhibit and lecture showcased photography done by photographers around Southeast Ohio, mostly photographers included in the Y-Bridge Photography Club. Because this was the first time photography has been showcased like this at Muskingum, Professor and Director for the Louis O. Palmer Gallery, Jan Sun, explains why this was such an exciting exhibit.
Local people, they want to know and how talent and the artists represent their feelings of our life and our community.
The lecture was done by Connie Lambert, in which she explained different aspects of her photography and her daily life working from Muskingum as well as the wilds. For Orbit Media News, I'm Nicholas Lambus.
The CHASE program is officially on hiatus this semester due to technical difficulties with the website and lack of student involvement. During the hiatus, those involved with the CHASE hope to take a look at the program as a whole, therefore making it stronger than before. Junior Mary Beth Holtel, who helped design the website, talks about how it affects the students, community, and what the hiatus means for the team that has worked on it.
You know, we did hype it up, and it's supposed to work, and it could also affect the local businesses, because the local businesses were really involved and really, you know, ready to work with us on this. So I just think putting a pause to it could be disappointing, but then it can also give us time to make it something outstanding.
Students coming back this spring semester found it difficult to register their computers, tablets, and game consoles. The Bradford Software, a system that searches for updated antivirus software and operating systems, was down due to the newest upgrade that students were finding it difficult to register their devices. The game console registration page was down from the upgrade. Computer and networking services offered other links for students to use when registering their game. Consoles CNS then repaired the page on the first day of classes.
That's all for this evening. Be sure to check us out on WMCO 90.7 and on OrbitMediaOnline.com.
You can also pick up a copy of the Black and Magenta to stay informed and up to date on recent campus news. Have a great night, New Concord.